Hello, everyone. Yeah, in today's video, I will be sharing with you uh, some quick information and tools that you can easily use on access your blasting operation. As you know, WipFrag being one of the blasting assessment tool is easy to use, and there are a lot of tools that on this software that most people thinks not to be using when they are accessing their blasting. Tools are actually classified into different function. One of the two I'll be talking about today is called the Edit Assist tool. So people will ask, where can I find the Edit Assist tool? So as you can see right here, the Edit Assist tool is up here, and the Edit Assist tool has two main functions, and you can easily use these two in between any of these function. The first function is that the two can easily spec uh, the big fragment in your blasting as a function of the number of the big fragments you want to count. So, after the blasting operation, the whole material is broken into fragments. As you can see on the screen right now, this is a blasting operation, and the whole of the rock marks has been broken into pieces. So, those section of the blasting that actually have boulder, and if there are boulders, then what area of the bench you are having those boulder, and what are so if that is what you want to know and what you want to use to assess your blasting during your analysis, do that with the edit assist tool. So to turn on the edit assist tool, you all you need to do is to click this particular region. The first clicking will definitely activate the tool based on number. So as you can see, as soon as I activate the tool, some of the materials were painted red. So those material painted red are the materials that are bigger than others in rank. So those fragments are the based on the biggest 50 fragments. So you can also adjust based on the number you want to count. So if you want to count based on the biggest 21 fragment in this blasting, so you can see those fragments that actually fall within the 21 counting. So these are the fragment that falls between the 21 biggest fragments. So you can also adjust the number to 50 as the maximum. So the 50 biggest fragments will actually be painted red, so you can easily know their size by just putting your cursor on them, and you can right click, you can right click on each of them, and you can easily see their sizes. So then the second function of the tool is the tool has ability to assess the whole of the blasting and justify the size of the fragment as a function of your crusher or your loader. So how do you do that? This you need to click the tool the second time. So and when you long press the tool in this second mode, you can easily put the size of your crusher there. Let's assume your crusher is 1300 meter gape, excuse me. So all you need to do is to put the size of the crusher inlet, and you can see the materials that are actually highlighted as red are bigger than the primary crusher, and you can easily toggle your cursor all around those materials to know their exact size and know if indeed they are bigger than your primary crusher. As you can see, this material is bigger than your primary crusher, and you can easily toggle around them. Then another thing that can assist you in for you assist you when you are trying to locate the position of this material on your blast on the real ground is that this grid line is 10 by 10-meter grid line, so you can easily measure from the edge of the pit to wherever the blast is, and you can locate where that material is in the pit. Then another tool apart from that is the heat map. So how do you activate the heat map after your analysis? After you've completed the whole of your analysis, for you to activate the heat map, you can just navigate on the map pile, then right twice, and you can see the heat map can easily be activated. Then how can you, what are those things you can do with the heat map? The first information on the heat map is based on the legend. So you need to try and locate the legend of the heat map at the left corner of your monitor. You can see right now the legend of the heat map is located there, and it's saying color is based on the materials that are greater than D90. 5 is the size class that will support 95% of your material passing. That means those materials that are highlighted as red are bigger than the D95. That is, if you are considering 95% of the material passing through your crusher, those material that are highlighted as red is bigger than that size of materials that you are considering. So you can see the heat map. Then another thing you can do with the heat map is that if you try sliding the heat map down, you can see the heat map tends to faint and let you see the actual size and tell you how accurate the edge detection. These are quick tools that you can easily use during your editing, and that works well for you. So you can also proceed and generate your particle size distribution curve. So when you have your particle size distribution curve, there are a lot of information that you can extract from the particle size distribution curve, going through them one after the other. The first thing you notice here in this particular blast analysis is that I've already generated a specification envelope. Like working in a mine, I have some size class that I know what I'm looking for, what the downstream operation is expecting from the blasting operation. So, like for example, if I'm the one doing the blasting, I know the size of the primary crusher that the material I'm breaking in this particular blast design is going to. So I know the size of the gap of that material. I know the size of the loader that will be loading the material on site on the truck. And I know the size of the screen that will be interacting with the material. So if you have those information, you can easily develop this same specification envelope. Then how do you do that? All you need to do is to click on the size class. You can see the size class here. So when you click the size class, you can easily set your specification envelope. So you don't want more of fines. For example, if you're working in an aggregate quarry, you don't want your blasting to be over crushed. That is, you're using more of the powder factor and you are reducing the material below what you think you should reduce it to. So you want to set the the under size class to be from like 0 to 5 or 0 to 10, depending on the distance between the minimum and the maximum range that I'm selecting for my specification envelope is going to define the region, the upper and the lower region space between this specification envelope. So in this specification envelope, as you can see, I'm using it from like 0 to 10. So like 10 millimeter apart. So that's the range I'm giving to it. So you can also give a range to it that is smaller than that. So that means the specification envelope will be smaller in width as compared to what I'm having now. So it depends on the factor of safety you want to work with, or your key performance indicator and how important those size class are to your crusher. So you want to set that, you want to put each of the size class of interest. Like for example, the 120 millimeter, you want to set that to be like 0 to 10. Then you want to move up to other size class that is bigger than that, maybe your crusher outlets. You want to set a specification for it also to know the percentage of the material that you have blasted that can easily go through the primary crusher without any, you doing any crushing work on it. So you can see I set that to be like 0 to 25. That's like 25% energy saving from the blasting. So if 25% of the material can go through the crusher without any crusher impact effect at the beginning stage of my crushing operation, then I'm saving money and I'm saving energy. Then I move up again to like 32, 320 millimeter, and I set a specification for it. Then I move up to like maybe to set an envelope for my secondary crusher, and to set an envelope for my primary crusher, and even to set an envelope for my loader, front end loader, or your excavator or the likes. So when you are done setting the envelope, then with frag we actually develop like like a base, like a base particle size distribution curve of which you want your blasting to align with. So if the blasting is not aligned with the base, that is the framework of what you have defined to be a good blasting as a function of your downstream operation and your mine operation. So if the curve is not falling between that range, then you want to look at those factors that have contributed to the current blasting that actually affected it from falling into your specification envelope. So you can also see here you have like a summary of the key important, the important particle size class. So like the D50 is the 50% passing size or the main size. Then the N value is the uniformity index value. Then the D80 is the 80% passing size. So if you have the 80% passing size greater than your primary crusher inlet, that means the 80% of the material will not be able to go directly to the crusher for further reduction. Then you need to perform maybe secondary blasting before feeding the material to your primary crusher. Then the X max is defining the maximum fragments that your blasting produce. So if your blasting is producing maximum fragment that is bigger than your body, it's obviously that definitely it's obvious that the blast design is not well executed, or is not fitting the properties of the rock, because you expecting the oversized material, that is the maximum fragment from that blast, if you don't have any form of back break or failure or misfire, to be lesser than the budding distance between each of the roll of O. Then you can also use the DX. The DX is like a quick check on your blast results. What the DX helps you to do is that if you are interested in a particular passing size, like for example, you are interested in D25, so you can easily get that using the DX2. So the DX2 will tell you the size that fits into that. So if you have an inlet of 467.82 millimeter, only 25% of that material will pass through it. Then what happened in a kind of case or scenario where you have a crusher or you have an inlet of 1000? So the percentage of the material of 1000, the percentage of the material that will go through that crusher will actually be specified by the DX. You can see if you have a crusher of 1000 millimeter, then 70.78 percentage of the material will go through the crusher. Then what happens if you try to increase your crusher, or you try to adjust your gape? Maybe you adjust your gape to 1100, then you can see how any adjustment can easily fit into this current blasting. Then there's some crusher that you have an adjustable edge, so after the blasting you want to see maybe if you need to adjust your crusher a little bit, or maybe you need to make some adjustment to the inlet size. So you can easily find that out using the DX as fast as possible. Then what are other things that are here? Up here you can see the exportation of the results from WipFrag. You can export as PDF, as PNG, as CSV, or as analysis file. Then you can use the blast cast to simulate your blasting by adjusting the controllable parameters and see how that will definitely affect your blast results. So these are some of the things that you can do, some of the quick tools that are available on WipFrag. If you have any question, comment below and let's discuss. Thank you very much for listening. See you next video.